Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's a weird Friday night for just here on I'm Fired Up. No Red Voice Media. I am here. I am your sanitation provider. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to kick some regular media square in the balls. I am doing this on a local level because you know I talk about local action. Has national influence. For my national people, K. Tony, GT Boone Lidger or something. Man, you guys got to work on your names. There's my dude, Beer and Backroads, Mr. Rowdy. Joan Loves God. We do too, Joan. It is filling up everywhere. We are on all social medias. And tonight, again, because local impact, local action has national impact. I don't just take out the trash on the national stage. I take it out right here in South Carolina. We used to do this. It's the only show I still do on Facebook because the sons of bitches in South Carolina lose their ever-loving mind. Because while they're all sitting at their big-ass table of the elite and the establishment uniparty, here comes the notification that Thugzilla, it just went apeshit in the middle of their dinner. And you know what we're going to do today is, one, we are going to show, because we have talked so much about the SCGOP, everything that's going on here in South Carolina, and the ugly that is the corruption of the 33rd most conservative state per American Conservative Union. That's right, Matt Schlapp, our dude, Trump's buddy over at the American Conservative Union. On an election night, 5 seconds after the polls close, you always see MSNBC, Fox, and everybody else says, and South Carolina goes Republican. Why? Because we are Republican. We believe in the Republican values. But just like you saw on Project Veritas, when you had one of our state legislators caught on tapes talking to some guy in prison for some reason, saying, "Where's my bag money, guys?" And we needed to take over the Republican Party from the inside. Apparently, she did not get the memo because it's already happening. That's why we are 33rd. Again, let me say it again. 33rd in conservative legislation. The entire concept. And if you go to ACU, you will look at Georgia, you will look at North Carolina, and you will see this purple little teardrop looking state. That's South Carolina. It's out. Everybody knows it. And for Donald Trump, he knows it. Yeah, we know people. Nonetheless, we are going to continue to put out the bullshit that is here. And as you all know, because of Steve Bannon, the War Room, my friend Grace Chong, all of them have always talked about how we have to get involved locally, and we did. My wife and some of her friends took over the Republican Party of South Carolina, of Horry County, arguably one of the most powerful because of the tax base. And then here comes the state with their bullshit. We're going to go through this media, and the reason I'm doing this, and I'm doing it nationally, because it really has impact. You're going to see the vein come out of my friggin' forehead, and I've got two lovely ladies that are in the fight. For those of you in the Getter chat, you're going to see her. She's here. She's, I think it's Janette Spurlock or something like that on the Getter chat when we have our regular show. She is also the vice chairman of the Horry County proper Republican Party. Not the butt pirates over there, the GOP butt pirates or whatever. We'll figure that out in a minute. But I'm gonna read this article to you all, and we're gonna do what most people can't. Because it is local, I am going to put this particular media piece on blast, and I'm going to give you the exhibits. I'm going to show you how the media bias is real, not just on the national towards Donald J. Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene, or anybody else, but it's also in the local fight. When I tell you this is an overt fight across the country, it absolutely is, and we are in it right here in South Carolina. Now, the reason I have this nationally is that I'm showing you on the local level the media bias. I'm showing you how the GOP is circling the wagons to make sure Donald J. Trump is never back in that White House. So we have multiple fronts. We have the uniparty scumbags, traitors, with the full-on Democrats. They are a dumpster fire at this point. I don't understand. But the uniparty is going to be the one that gets them over the top. So with that being said, without further ado, I don't have a disco today, so I'm doing all the button flicking myself, which I hate. But I want to get us into this quickly so that we're not here all night. I love seeing the Getter chat getting pumped up right now. I bet Jeanette's in the backstage right now going, shit, those are my people. They're actually gonna see me. They're gonna be able to talk to me. And you all know her. And all of the badass patriots that are right here in South Carolina. This is our real HCGOP. That's the Horry County Republican Party. Vice Chair, none other than Jeanette Spurlock. Welcome to I'm Fired Up, Jeanette. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. I mean, it's about time that we lay out some information on the table. This article that came out, I can't wait for you to start reading it because I'm ready to nitpick it line by line. I was so mad last night. I said, we got to get this out. So I'm ready. Let's do it.
Well, we have chats going everywhere from Clout Hub to Getter to Twitter. The Twitterverse is going nuts right now.
I see all of our peeps are on Facebook. Yeah, good deal.
I don't know if I read that right because the chat moved too fast, but it looks like Red Voice Media may be picking this up and putting it on their network.
All right. Hey, Red Voice Media.
But this is why we do what we do, because local impact has local action has national impact. Yeah. This is where you fix this, people. And we are going to show you that I am by no means Donald Trump. Neither is Miss Spurlock here. But what I am going to show you is that what the things that Donald Trump is dealing with is the exact same thing that they do to the smaller local fight. Those of us that are MAGA, those of us that are about make America or America first policy, they're circling the wagons. Jeanette, before I do this, because you kind of came in as a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed Southern girl from Conway, South Carolina, and I looked over at you at a meeting once, and I'm like, why are you always sitting next to me? Are you on the other side? And you're like, no, I want to hear it because the shit you say is hilarious. Now here we are. You are the vice chair. You ran for Congress. The field got heavy. You decided to drop out of that, and you ran for city council of Conway, South Carolina. And now you're the vice chair of the most powerful Republican Party in the state. And I say that, I always say arguably, so that those folks up in Greenville don't flip out. But nonetheless, they're on our team because we're trying to bring about real change. Give me a quick overview before I get into this piece. Give me a quick overview of what you have realized when you found yourself in the political toilet bowl that is local politics.
You know, I think just like you said, I was really naive to the inside politics when I decided I was going to run for office. And I'm really grateful that I was, because had I known the things that I know now, it would have been a lot harder and scarier probably for me to get involved. So, you know, my goal the whole time was to make sure that the people had a voice. You know, for so long, I watched politicians, my friends and I, we all just watched them say whatever they had to say to get into office. And when they get into office, they don't pay any attention. And that's what I also found inside of South Carolina Republican Party. I mean, they try to dictate to us what we are and aren't going to do, and then make a determination of whether or not we're real Republicans or not. And I find this very disheartening. I mean, I'm sad for the people of this county and this state that, you know, they are being brainwashed into believing that these people are out here doing the best for them when they're not. They're doing the best for themselves. And there's little slogans that are running around about, and I just want to say this, it's kind of been on my heart for a couple of days, but this 80% we agree and 20% we don't, that's bullshit. Sorry, I'm not supposed to call it. But that's crap. It's nothing but, you know, it's brainwashing. It's brainwashing people to believe that there is some kind of radical behavior coming along, but it's not. What we are doing is finally standing up to people, for the people, and other people are stopping us, trying to stop us from doing that. And it absolutely blows my mind, which is why I'm here, because I am never, ever, under any circumstances, going to stop fighting for the people. That's right. Yeah.
You've become part of our family with Elizabeth and I, and you've seen that fight come to us, from a multitude of FBI investigations to multiple SLED investigations to just the hit pieces by mouth breathing media and the skinwalkers out there. They just love to run their mouth. We call them cock gobblers on this show, but nonetheless, we'll keep it Christian. So I'll leave that for RVM. And here's Jeff Davis, the chairman of the Greenville Party. He says Greenville rocks. It rocks, but we got the money. Just saying. But Jeff and his Patriots in Greenville, South Carolina, have had it coming at them, man. The SCGOP, which, by the way, for those of you in the Getter chat, the Twitter chat, and the Clout Hub, we'll just call it the chat from this forward. You guys have to deal with this same piece of crap that we do. The petulant child, Drew McKissick. Why? Because he is now your co-chair of the national RNC. That's what they do in the establishment. When you're such a piece of crap, they give you a promotion, if you will. And I want to put it in perspective for everybody because you all know Ronna McDaniel. Ronna McDaniel is that of the Romney folks, right? Well, I want to give you some perspective on that to see how a bird of a feather will stay together. So what's happened is that Drew McKissick, who called us MAGA lepers, if you remember.
I remember.
Like a Trump guy.
Dumpster fire, I think, was another thing he claimed we were, but okay.
He said our GOPs, when we took it over, were going to be MAGA leper colonies in 2 years. Boy, he's really trying it because he took over. He's trying to do what he is in Greenville, South Carolina. He's trying to do the same thing here in South Carolina to the point where we've had to go to some crazy things that will be lined out here in this media piece that is a complete dumpster fire in itself.
So much for unity.
Oh, and then, okay, you bring up a great point. The idea of unity is a phenomenal idea. There's always been people always spit Reagan at me. Never speak it. The 13th commandment or whatever is thou shalt never speak ill will of another Republican. I don't talk shit about Republicans. I talk crap about terrible, terrible people.
Yeah.
Okay. People that are out there trying to get ahead of the game through their politics instead of, what is this crap? We gotta block. I gotta block somebody. They're trying to block users from Facebook. Bye. Somebody's trying to hack our show, which isn't surprising because the establishment has all of the money, so they bring their hackers in here to try to shut us down. But what they don't know is that we have really cool friends.
Yeah, in really good places. Yay.
Exactly. But we don't go out there and talk about it. None. We just block a bitch like we just did. Yeah. Man, he was really, really trying to break in. I'm looking, my firewall's going nuts. But anyway, we stopped it. So that being said, we've put ourselves in a position where we're at the tip of the spear. The tip of the spear is not always a great place to be. But I want to go to the Getter chat here. Everybody's saying, nice to have you, ma'am. Good to see you, Jeanette. You've got some rock-on fingers with the American flags. Nice. South Carolina Patriot Girl, Trump 2024. Don't use Facebook. Fake book. I don't either, but I have 7 years of videos on it. So if that bothers you, you can always leave. I don't really care. I hate it when people tell me that don't use them or don't use that. Me and Matt Couch will lose our mind about that. So if you don't use it, that's fine. That's why we're on Getter. Grateful to have you, Jeanette. Uniparty is just that, and that a unbreakable chain of command. Mm-hmm. Is it unbreakable? You know how much I love it when somebody says you can't do something, Chad. That's the CB way. The hard takes us a while. The impossible takes us a little bit longer. So that being said, we are under attack, and the media, we have exposed perjury. We have exposed everything and anything and everything about the scumbaggery that we have going on here. And I was talking about Drew McKissick because he is now your co-chair of the national party. So the very person I'm talking about in the SCGOP, Drew the Petulant Child McKissick, is now your national co-chair, Getter. That is your guy that's up there getting yoga pants with $5,000 worth of yoga pants with none other than Ronna Romney McDaniel. And before I went into that joke, he was in charge of South Carolina for Mitt Romney's presidential run. So you see how they keep it together. And if I remember correctly, Mitt Romney's not a huge Trump fan.
No.
Here you go, folks. South Carolina is super important nationally also because we are first in the South. The first in the South is where you start to see some of the busy primary pool start to drop people off because they can't come back. I have a theory, and I believe I'm right, because the word on the street is that you're going to have a DeSantis come in. You're going to have Nikki Haley, who is in, and you're going to have a Tim, damn it. What's his name? Thank you. Tim Scott, who, by the way, from all of our reorgs across the state, his staff is staffing these reorgs for the SCGOP. You got to be shitting me. And I want all of you to look up Palmetto Family. Palmetto Family. That is the proverbial SS arm of the, that's right, I said it. Kiss my entire.
All of it.
There you go. All of it. Because the Palmetto Family Council, which is a PAC and a whatever, all these people from across the state, and we're going to have a special guest at the end here from the first convention in reorg that was had, and she's got a few things to say about what happened. And all of that has shown that this is a onslaught hunting of MAGA. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're going from county to county trying to take over. I mean, when have we ever had to pass through security sheriffs to get into a reorg? We've got video of Reese Boyd demanding that this lady show proof that she had a right to go in the room. She had to pull out an email that was sent to her and tell him, I was invited to come. Please let me in. And then begrudgingly, he let her in. And I only think he felt like letting her in because he might have realized he was being recorded. I mean, these kind of things are coming on us faster and faster and faster. And it's very frustrating when we are the ones getting the bad rap for everything. We would never do anything like that ever. It blows my mind that they do it and they can walk around saying, I'm not the bad guy. They're the bad guy.
Oh. Because we're over the target.
Yeah.
We're over the target and we quit dealing with the bullies and the bully pulpit. All right. So we had a you know what? I'm just going to bring her in. I don't care anymore. This is off the Richter, and I believe everybody in the Getter chat is drinking, it looks like, and they're having fun. Tony, it is ridiculous. All right, I'm going to bring on my special guest, and we'll let her give her opinion because she just was part of the first reorg convention of South Carolina in Sumter, South Carolina, which has a lot of going on because a guy named Merle Smith, the Speaker of the House, happens to live in this area. So the idea, and this is where you've all heard me on the spaces, you've heard me on my show, being a part of the Republican Party and in charge gives you that political fear, that political power, because during the primary, the party is very involved. This is a smaller area, be it Sumter, and the Speaker of the House of South Carolina happens to be in this area. So the GOP is trying like hell because more than likely, if good Keep America or Make America Great folks were in charge of this Republican Party, that speaker will start to turn towards more Republican. Why? Because it's a Republican GOP, and that Republican GOP has a lot of power to get people elected. Merle Smith, but I do want to introduce her. I'm just going to call her Miss Tanya so that she doesn't get doxxed out. You and I are okay with it. But Miss Tanya from Sumter, South Carolina, welcome to I'm Fired Up. Hey, you're on.
Hey, how are you tonight?
I'm living the dream. Now, we're going to go through this piece, but I want to go ahead and just knock this out of the way because you came on and we've got this to do. A lot of people are watching all over the country. I mean, the Getter chat, we have Cal Cloud, we got people watching. And this has, you know, I'm all about local, even though I do a national show. But I talk about how that makes a huge difference, right, Miss Tanya? So,
yes, it does.
That being said, we are about to go into what the scumbags are doing to us in Horry County because, you know, we've picked a fight, and us and my buddy Jeff Davis up there, you know, and his group, the MySCGOP, which they keep trying to say is Democrats, and that George Soros funded, by the way. Hey, Getter, George Soros, could you imagine? My Getter people love me. They're gangster as shit. So I'm telling you right now, my Getter folks, could you imagine me being a part of any group that's funded by George Soros? That is the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life. Did you not see my intro? It's friggin' Metallica. You think I'm going to put up with that? It's not going to happen, kids. It's not going to happen. All right, Miss Tanya, I want to give you the floor here. So, Jeanette, I'm going to send you backstage for a sec.
All right.
And Miss Tanya,
Thank you.
She's still here. She's just backstage, but you just had your convention where you elected your slate, if you will, right? Did you take a bite out of it?
We it got ripped. I don't know. Let's see. We elected a slate of officers, but it's really interesting. And I wanted to point out many of these folks have been members of the Republican Party for somewhere about 20 years. And what they do is they just shift offices and they occupy the offices, but they don't do any work. There's very, very little work that is done, and they like it like that. So that's how it's all done. It's
because
it's
apathy breeds power.
Correct.
Drew McKissick said that in an email. The state chairman put an email out saying, be careful who you bring in the Republican Party because apathy breeds power. Scumbag.
Wow. Well, and I have an interesting thought on that because the power that is in the party can be answered by the question, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Which came first, the voter or the party? It's absolutely the voter. The voter rules, no matter how you look at this. The first cause was the voter, and that came as a result of our having our rights endowed to us by our creator. And so we are able to have those rights without the interruption or interference from a government or a party. So that is really interesting, I think, to note about where we get our rights from. So so Thursday we had our last night we had our our county convention, and it started from a really bad usurping of the chairman at our reorg. Our first vice chair, Venetia, was had organized. We had met a couple of times as a committee. We all volunteered to do the help. We had everything orchestrated. Our chairman, Bill Oden, got the microphone and it went off the rails. It was a total embarrassment to our county, to the party, everything.
So we were all the most embarrassing things that he said?
Oh my goodness. Gosh, I can't even think off of the top of my head from reorg because that's been almost a month ago. But basically yelling at people to stop talking and listen. And he just rambled and prattled on for so much time. Everyone was completely run amok. We had to do.
Are you talking about the reorg? Hang on, Tanya. Are you talking about the reorg where he was actually, and you don't have to show the paper, people can't see it. It's too small. But okay. Are you talking about the reorganization, not the convention, where he was actually in uniform with the United States Army and he was in BDUs with his colonel rank, which he did. By the way, hey, Odin, I went to the adjutant general and I've had a couple friends do it also. You're not commissioned. You are handed a colonel rank and you walk around like you got something big between your legs. You're not, and you're a bully, and I'm going to out you everywhere. So that happened at reorg where he stood there with his BDU
reorg makeup, which was 2 days after that. But he had yelled at the first vice chair to the point that everyone in the room completely stopped. It was abusive. It was definitely an assault, in my opinion. But we muddled on and got through and were able to finish it with, I was able to redirect him and say, this is a volunteer organization, Bill. You know, all we have is our thanks, our gratitude. So that happened. And then our reorg makeup, he accosted me and another friend, Lisa, and really charged at us in his utilities, as you said. And there were some very unnerved folks. So it was really, really terrible to see him, attacking us, which really the role of the chairman is to be an unbiased person. He's supposed to be a facilitator, but he doesn't act in that way at all. He has his own personal agenda, and he really doesn't want to account to county executive committee, which he infrequently calls into meetings. Our last county executive committee meeting was December 21st of last year. be a minimum of once per quarter, and that governing body that lays out the agenda for the tax be in a meeting at all.
All right, Tanny, stop. You are having some. Go ahead, and your computer is very we're not be able to hear you. You're probably on Wi-Fi or something, but it looks like it's chilled out a little bit. But let's do some questions and answer them real quickly for me, because we don't want to be here for 6 hours. So my question to you is, during this convention, you had your slate, your people, they came in with a new rule, did they not?
Yes. And the new rule is that you had to have voted in 2 of the last 3 primaries. And we have a lot of transients that have moved into town, a lot of military folks, because we have Shaw Air Force Base. And then for people who were not from the area, all of these last 3 primaries, they made sure that their Rhino candidates for state delegate were on the ballot, but not the other folks.
So say that again. So will you come to your convention? This is the day it's happening, and the people that were slated out for the MAGA folks weren't even on the ballot. But all of the establishment uniparty, we don't use Rhino anymore. It's overused. It's kind of like when people say "I love you" and they're lying. We use uniparty because they're working with the Democrats, and we can prove it. We have proven it 100 times. So the uniparty had their establishment folks all on the ballot, but the MAGA folks were in fact not.
For state delegates, for state delegate, yes, that's correct. So they said that they didn't qualify. So the delegate list was supposed to, for the attendees for the county convention, was supposed to be finalized and made available to all precinct presidents on Tuesday, which was 5 days after the reorg when it took place. We got that list less than 48 hours beforehand, and it was still not complete. And it still had people's names without an address. I mean, we didn't even know if they lived in the precinct that they were signed up for. So that was a real issue. So it couldn't be validated. But aside from that, this really pushes to election integrity, because over the summer for the primaries, I worked on the Duke Buckner campaign, and our team of volunteers, we did door knocking, we did literature drop, we did signage, we did
we did a lot.
And when we were out with the maps, we found that there were places on the map and there was no structure. There was no structure on the map, so it was a phony address. There was an empty lot. Numbers like 10 and 12.
All right, Tanya, you're Tanya, we'll bring you right back. All right. I can't, Wi-Fi is a bitch. We're going to try to make sure Tanya's okay. She's rebooting or whatever. Tanya, wave your hand down there when I think you're good. We'll bring you back in. So we keep having this issue, and okay, she's back. So I'm going to bring her on. We're going to have to move quicker. Tanya, give me the 2 biggest things that happened at convention that were just terrible.
Well, it's a conundrum that 2 out of 3 for anybody to prove that they did not vote. There's no proof.
All right, Tanya, I'm sorry. Your computer's terrible. All right, we're just gonna have to go into it. So basically, I will give you the rundown of what I saw, and the Wi-Fi with Miss Tanya. Sometimes the system does that, and it's not her fault. It's just how the internet works. So with that being said, what happened down there at this particular convention is they just steamrolled everybody. They actually brought in a guy named Chad Conley. Tanya just put in the private chat, I live in the country. I should have known that before I had you come on. We got to get you one of them Tesla satellite thingies. But it's one of those things right now where they just walked in there and they're like stormtroopers, and it looks like she's back on. So I'm going to do this. We're going to get out here and move. But Miss Tanya, is it not that they came in like stormtroopers and just said, we're going to do what we want, kiss our ass, and they made their slate, and their slate basically just won, even though you guys kept trying to fight it? Because the problem is they can do whatever they want. There's nobody to bring in to take them out. Am I right?
Correct. But we were a resistance. There was a group there that was resisting all of that. So we spoke up at every turn. They tried to go through the agenda at auctioneer speed, and we did everything we could. Points of order. to put a question to pose so that we could slow it down some. So we had to use a lot of parliamentary procedure. I had a consultant with me, Ingrid Centurion, to assist the effort. She's with Generations for America, and she helped us a great deal. So the election integrity, we got to get back to those roles and make sure that all of this information is correct. We really need to push that because everything's tied to that.
All right, so let me go into that real quickly, and then we're going to have to move on. But when you are talking the voter roll, because what's happened is they're saying that you have to vote in 2 of the last 3 primaries, and they're trying to say that the slate and people that you guys had as ECs, all of a sudden they're standing there with a stack of papers saying you didn't vote the last 2 out of the 3, and people are like, "What are you talking about? We've already proven across the state that the South Carolina Election Commission does not keep valid records in any way, shape, or form. Not even kind of. They do that because this is the swamp. They don't want you to be able to go up. So it's easier for them to say, "Oh, I guess our records weren't wrong. Sorry." Tough shit. But instead, that's what they do. They would rather tell you, "I'm sorry, our bad," than because they're doing it on purpose. They're not keeping the voter rolls correctly. And that's why they changed this law or this rule so that because they knew that we were building a momentum. They knew that we were building an army. They knew that we were going to take over South Carolina in regards to the GOP. And what did they do? They had a bullshit convention, the second one in a year, and they made a bunch of rules that don't make any sense and that they can't prove. This will go to court. And they will be seen for exactly who they are, which, by the way, folks, everybody gets appointed in South Carolina. Nobody really has to run for anything, including our judges and the election commission. They put those people in there to be complete scumbaggery. And we'll go into that when we go into the piece. I'll throw it to you. Give us the last one, and we got to move on.
Okay, the last one. Let's see. Sherry White tampered with the Form 1s. So all of her Rhino candidates, they may or may not have checked that they wanted to be a county delegate. She was caught by 2 other executive board people tampering and checking off those boxes on the forms for the candidates that they wanted to serve as delegate. They're puppets, basically.
So the Form 1s are where people vote for their delegate, right?
Correct.
All right.
It's the Form 1 where you fill out your name, address, your
we got to generalize it. People number, don't know.
Yeah. And then you fill out whether or not you want to be considered for a county convention delegate or a state delegate. So you have those 2 boxes to answer. And so her friends had missed that box, so she went back through all the packets and was marking X's on the boxes for the delegates that they wanted.
That's forgery.
Yep.
That's election tampering.
She works for a law firm here in town.
What law firm?
I am not sure.
It's not the Murdaugh one, is it?
No.
All right. Nobody wants that law firm anymore. I'll tell you that much. They just call it the firm. Nonetheless, she tampered and election tampering and fraudulently filled those in. And you have multiple people that witnessed said crime. That is a crime.
Well, while she was doing that was when Bill attacked me and my other friend, Lisa.
Because they have to look at the distraction because you guys came legit and deep. I'm sorry. We're going to keep fighting this and we're going to move on. Thank you I gave you very little time and you live out in the country and apparently we got to fix that internet out there. My brother used to work for Spectrum. I would send him out there, but I don't know what we can do. But thank you so much for coming on tonight and being a part of this. We're going to start doing more of these because there's video, there's recordings, and they're being seen. And I'm going to make sure the whole country knows exactly who the petulant child, Drew McKissick, the godfather of the South Carolina khaki mafia. I am going to make sure the entire world knows it. Thank you so much, Miss Tanya. You are a patriot, and God bless you, Barry and Miss Lisa and everybody down there in Sumter that are fighting like hell. America appreciates you. We love you, and that's how it's done. And don't get discouraged. I was on a call earlier today with y'all. Don't let those people get discouraged. Smile in the face of assholelessness and move on, because you know what? You will win. I assure you that.
We will. We will. We, the people, are pissed off.
Hoorah. Thank you, Miss Tanya. I will talk to you very soon. You did a great job. Thank you very much. Now we're going to go on to how the media is also backing the Uniparty. All right. I'm going to bring Jeanette Spurlock in. We're going to go right back into this. So, Jeanette, I mean, that's what's going on in Little Sumter. I mean, it's a little area. I mean, it's not small, but it's a small area. I mean, look at the crazy town that's going on.
But you were making a good point. I mean, Sumter may be small, but there's a big deal behind Sumter.
There's the Speaker of the House sitting there going, I hope whoever wins, I've got to pivot so that because he's beatable in a House seat. So you know, especially in a small area, all it takes is a little bit of money and a little bit of anger, and things will go. So I don't know that Merle Smith is totally in bed with the petulant child, Drew McKissick. I know he's kind of like his socks are there, but I don't know if he's completely in bed with him. But nonetheless, we're gonna go into this piece. So this is here in Horry County is the Horry County News. Actually, it's My Horry County News is the name of the website. The editor-in-chief, his name is Charles Perry. I've known Charles for years from going to county council meetings and the like. He's always done me fair. He's always wrote fair. He's always very fair. Mm-hmm. The only problem and his piece here is unfair. Absolutely. But I don't know if it's because of laziness, because there's no journalistic integrity here. He had said that, and it says in the piece that he contacted Roger Slagle. You're the vice chair for the real HCGOP. Were you contacted by Charles Perry at any time in regards to the HCGOP in this piece?
No, I mean, even I went through spam, nothing. And even a step further back, I mean, he claims that we didn't respond, but we have sent him countless emails of our account of how this all has played out. And he's not written a single letter, put a vowel in there for us. He's not contacted or responded to any of those emails. So that makes me a little frustrated too with him. You know, when you say you're trying to reach out, but yet we laid all the information in your lap, you don't have to reach out. We already gave it to you, and then doesn't use that.
I have multiple exposés on Facebook showing perjury, showing a telegram, a secret telegram group that was put up to disenfranchise and to make your life hell at the HCGOP. Is that a Sarah? And all the people that set it up, Reese Boyd III. Oh, I've got a great picture. Let me show you.
Yeah.
Reese Boyd III, Esquire of Davis and Boyd Law Firm. Davis and Boyd Law Firm of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, and all my Getter people, don't leave because it's about to get really good.
Yeah.
But this is the guy that the SCGOP, the petulant child, Drew McKissick, the state chair and your national co-chair at the RNC. This is the guy they tap to try to take us out with a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo and absolute lies. 1,000% lies. This is your boy. Here he is, and I'll be damned if he didn't run for state senate. This was during a runoff. Senate District 34, our next state senator will be decided this Tuesday, June 28th, in the runoff election between Republicans Reese Boyd and Stephen Goldfinch. Since we don't have a Democrat running, did y'all hear that? Mm-hmm. This is put out by the Democratic Party. See the little jackass down there at the bottom kicking Reese's name? Since we do not have a Democrat running, this is an important decision about who will best represent our interests, as in the Democrats, in the General Assembly of South Carolina. We believe that the candidate is Reese Boyd. Former Representative Vita Miller, a state Democratic Party leader, has endorsed Mr. Boyd, and we trust Vita's judgment. He seems to have realistic views that taxes will have to go up. Did you hear that, Getter? Did you hear that, Getter? Did you hear that, Getter? How about this?
Jeez.
Did you hear that, Getter?
I just want to make sure everybody could hear it in whatever voice you want to. So when you hear that, there's a Republican running for state senate. This is a Democrat newsletter or a door knocker, whatever, during an election, saying that Reese is realistic and that taxes will have to go up and his hands will view that taxes will have to go up and won't tie his hands with some new tax pledge. Mr. Boyd has been endorsed by conservative conservation voters. Those are the hippies. Remember the tree people that shot at cops? Who are fighting unneeded road projects, so he cares about the environment. Mr. Boyd has taken the time to reach out to Democrats. That's right, reach out to them and seek our support. We are encouraged by what Mr. Boyd has told us and believe he is someone who can work with Democrats in the Senate. He's not a Republican, not even close. Even though this is a Republican runoff election, Democrats can vote in it. And that's right, Getter and CloutHub. They can vote in it because we have open primaries. You can't make this up. I know a lot of you people are sitting at home going, holy crap. That's right. The great state of South Carolina's open primaries. Even though the Republican runoff election, Democrats can vote in it. So on Tuesday, in the absence of a Democratic candidate for state Senate, please vote for Reese Boyd, Mr. Now, who is the fake HCGOP, the head of the snake here in Horry County, South Carolina, that has decided to be the punching boy for Drew McKissick and the Palmetto family, who, by the way, remember when I said the Palmetto family? Mm-hmm. He's the vice chair of the Palmetto Family Council here in South Carolina.
Perfect example of you can't just fell into our laps and say, look what we're doing. And we're sitting here, eyebrows raised to the ceilings. We just can't hardly believe it.
By the way, folks, and those of you out there in my national world, this guy continues to send out little proxies that keep telling me that Reese is going to sue the crap out of you. Yeah. Why? Because I put his picture of his shit up here. I put his voice up here. Nonetheless, we'll go into that later. Mm-hmm. So we have Charles Perry, who is talking about the two HCGOPs. We went to court. So let me start reading this thing, and I'm going to keep Jenna on the screen here, and I'm going to blow your mind, Getter. You are going to see some of the most egregious, corrupt crap, and I've got the receipts. They're trying to get it. Yeah, they're trying to hack us again. Boop. Take that.
And I'm going to try not to have my initial reaction. Poor Elizabeth had to listen to Sailor Mouth from me last night while I was reading it. I was blown away by this article. Just the fallacies and just the falseness of everything in it. But anyway.
The Getter chat's going pretty good here. Good. Wow, goodness. Yep, no slate is safe. I know KT. I am Chad. Rowdy, you can be whoever you want to be. No state is safe from the left-wing lunacy. That is absolutely the truth. And wait till you hear the rest of this. So here is the piece that was written by Charles Perry of My Horry News. The editor-in-chief of My Horry News wrote this account. The courts may ultimately decide who can call themselves the Horry County Republican Party. A dispute over party leadership escalated last month when a group that isn't recognized by the state GOP filed an application to trademark the names Horry County Republican Party, Horry County GOP in similar terms. But the recognized party, that's Reese, by the way. The guy I just told you with the Democrat thing, just keeping everybody on board. But the recognized party, the Horry County GOP in similar terms, but the recognized party has no plans to relinquish the brand without a fight. Yay! I was so hoping they would say that. Mm-hmm. Because I love a good fight. Because
right. We're not just going to go away. This belongs to us. The people voted for us to do this. We have a right to do it, and we have an obligation to do it, regardless of what they say or think.
You're absolutely right. So Reese Boyd III, Esquire of Davis & Boyd Law Firm here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, he obviously answered the phone. Now, we did apply for a copyright infringement because I wanted to let you all know. We went to a magistrate court. By the way, the judge in that magistrate court never even went to law school. And you know why, folks? Because South Carolina appoints judges. You don't even have to go to law school. So we went to magistrate court to play the game, and this guy, this judge, did not listen to any of our evidence, did not listen to a video, nothing. Basically said, here, you can have a couple tables. That's all. Mm-hmm. So what we're trying to do, because of the onslaught of the establishment uniparty, we thought of another way to get this into federal court.
That's good. I thought it was great. You know what I mean? Like, we're not ever going to quit. And don't be surprised. We may come up with something. The next thing may even blow your mind worse than that. You know? We're not quitting.
Miss Jeanette, you're part of the copyright team that has copyrighted these names of the HCGOP, the Horry County Republican Party, things like that, right? Mm-hmm. There you go. So that way, when we go to a federal court, a judge is going to have to hear everything as to who has ownership of the HCGOP. We have the evidence. They have innuendo, and they run their chicken gobbler all over Facebook. That's it. So that being said, here's Reese Boyd, kids. Wait till you hear. There is one Republican Party in South Carolina, said Reese Boyd, the third Esquire of Davis & Boyd Law Firm in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, who is the only Horry County Republican Party chairman by the South Carolina Republican Party and the SC Election Commission. If you want to do something that is an island unto yourself and complete independence, that's fine. It's a free country. You can do that.
Thanks for the permission. We appreciate that.
But you can't do that within the auspice of the Republican Party. You're not a legally independent entity. So that was Reese Boyd. Yeah. The story goes on. Boyd and two other local leaders received letters dated March 22nd from Thomas and Moore, a registered patent attorney with Southeast IP Group, LLC. The letter said that the law firm represented the Horry County Republican Party, Jeanette's, the real one, and had just applied for the federal registration of its trademarks on March 20th and 21st. But the letter also indicated that Moses represented a group led by Roger Slagle. Not Roger Stone. He would be like, what? Who resigned,
Roger.
who resigned as party leader. That's it. Who resigned as party leader, but the letter also indicates, the chairman resigned a party chairman last year. I'm sorry, the lighting sucks in here. All right, so they said that Roger Slagle resigned. He did. He resigned, and then he said, I will be leaving by the end of the month. He resigned, I think, on the 15th or something like that. On the 26th, he held a meeting to bring in new vice chair and all that. At that meeting, as the chairman of the Horry County Republican Party, he rescinded his resignation. Now, a lot of you are like, well, then he's probably done, right? Nope. Yeah. And there you have it. Should the office and county chairman, county vice chair, or state executive committee become vacant, the county executive committee shall fill the vacancy by electing a chairman, vice chairman, or executive committeeman, respectively, for the expired term. Roger Slagle rescinded. There's nobody above him other than the ECs. They never accepted his resignation. Therefore, he was allowed to do what he did. Now, a resignation is a request to be excused from a duty. It may be withdrawn in the same manner, and any motion may be withdrawn. Do you hear that right there? Any motion may be withdrawn. That is to say, before the proposed resignation has been placed before the assembly by the chair, stating the question on its acceptance, it may be withdrawn with the consent of the assembly. Uh-oh. Mm-hmm. Did that ever happen, Ms. Spurlock?
No. In fact, the night that he put his resignation up, he just simply stood at the podium and made an announcement. I think that some people might think, because obviously Reese Boyd thinks he has this unlimited amount of power, but Roger can't just stand at the podium and tell us something. We elected him. He has an obligation to us to answer to us. We never put a motion on the floor to accept his resignation. And when he came back on September 26th, after many of us reached out, spent an endless amount of time talking to him, walking through what the future looked like and how we could move forward, we knew that he could rescind it because we didn't vote for him to accept his resignation. Therefore, it's not legal. And you know as well as I do, we can't even make a motion legal until the next meeting when we approve the minutes from that meeting. So, I mean, like, we're still like a couple months beyond. But anyway, that's getting into the weeds. So when we came in on the 26th and he withdrew it, he had the right to withdraw it in the same way he presented it. So what did Roger do? He stood at the podium and he said, hey, I withdraw my resignation. I'm rescinding it. They had an opportunity that night. I'm sorry if I get ahead of you, to elect a vice chairman, because our vice chairman wasn't rescinding.
Right. I am going to get a little ahead of me.
Okay, sorry.
But what they did is he rescinded it. It was done.
Yeah.
He has every right to do it. It's in Robert's
every
rules.
right
It's in the state law. It's all this. But Drew McKissick, the petulant child piece of crap he is, who actually, with Reese Boyd, wait for it, started a secret Telegram group. That's right. Yeah. A secret Telegram group after Reese Boyd got spanked to a rosy ass to the point where Roger Slagle smoked him. What is that? 2-3 weeks later, there it is. Reese Boyd III starts the GOP not butt pirates, but just pirates. I added the butt part. GOP pirates. This went on forever. And the people, and guess who was in that meeting? The lieutenant governor of South Carolina. Mm-hmm. The establishment circled the wagons because the rebels won. And the dumbasses actually, and that's right, they actually did minutes to the meeting that the lieutenant governor of South Carolina, I had a whistleblower come forward and give this to me. I know, Rowdy, you're going to love this. K. Tony, you're really going to love this, because this is the minutes from that meeting. And if you look at it, continue to press for transparency in the HCGOP and all the issues, information, not the things the leadership wants to share. They're trying to undermine them. Need to develop a system to responding for misinformation and other efforts to discredit the independent conservatives. So I guess we're independent conservatives, even though we're the HCGOP. Elements of the HCGOP, SCGOP. Down here in action items, we will help Shannon's group, which was the Republican women's that didn't like us. We will also help Linda's group, another little group of blue hairs, and help Don's group. That Don Bound is the founder of Red Hats. That's right. He claims to say that all the red hats you see at the Trump events are because of his grifting ass. The hats are made in China. That we're being told by multiple people that they were that the Trumps didn't like the way they were using their hats and putting them out there because it was a grift. It was absolutely a grift. He's given away $1,700 and something like $60,000 later, he's made the hats. I used to be an ambassador in the beginning of it, but we were able to cut ties once I figured out who this man was. You should look him up on Facebook also, Don Bound on Facebook, and go read some of the stupid he puts out every day. It is phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal. I'll post a couple of them here because I like to share them with all my friends. But let's move on here. So that was the meeting minutes from the lieutenant governor of South Carolina, who was there to undermine the new HCGOP that was duly elected by the people. We beat them at every turn. We actually chased a guy in a white van. This guy that drives around a Lester Molester van. He is now their state executive committeeman. I know, K. Tony. I can't make this shit up. He actually took off with all the data, and to the point where we had to chase him through Myrtle Beach because they were trying to fix the game. But we pounded them, and we pounded them bad. So let's move forward here with this this lazy piece from the Maori News. The terms Slagle Group seeks to trademark the Horry County Republican Party, Horry County GOP, HCGOP, Horry Republicans, HCRP, Republicans of Horry County, Grand Strand GOP, and the Grand Strand Republican Party, according to the letter. You guys really covered it all. Good job. It has come to our attention that you are continuing to use some of these marks in connection with political party services without authorization from our client. The letter stated, adding that our client is political party services without authorization from our client. The letter stated, adding that our client is concerned that there is a risk of confusion based on the use of our trademark. Therefore, we must respectfully request that you discontinue blah, 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 lawyer stuff, stop using our terms. And just so you all know, the $30-some-odd thousand that is the HCGOP's, hey, Rowdy, guess where it's at? In Jeanette and the real HCGOP's bank account.
Yeah.
If the SCGOP, well, I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's move on. Moses, the attorney, did not respond to requests for comment. It's a legal matter. He probably wouldn't do that. The trademark issue is just the latest battleground in a dispute that began in September when most of the local party leaders announced their resignations. Slagle submitted a letter to the state party saying he would step down as chairman on September 30th. Barbara Tracy, the secretary, Angela King, the treasurer, submitted their resignations too. Slagle then attempted. I don't believe he attempted. He did it.
He did it.
Money, where's that money again?
Yeah, we have it.
What's the name on that account and the bank?
The Horry County Republican Party.
The will you say?
Yeah, and we own that name, so must be ours.
What?
I mean,
wait. If they're still resigned, then how do we have all the money that says Horry County? We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, I was going to say that's another one.
Wait for it, Rowdy. It gets better. The Getter chat's having a blast right now.
Good. I'm glad.
So this is Charles Perry with Miami News I've had videos on Facebook exposing all of this. We're doing the fast version because we don't want to be here all night, but it's everywhere. It's everywhere. We have exposed everything to every document, everything, because that's what we do. We take out the trash. So Moses, the attorney, did not respond to the trademark. Slagle submitted the letter. Tracy, sorry, I didn't have my thingy here. Submitted the resignation. Slagle then attempted to rescind his resignation, but the party elected new leadership October 11th, according to court records. Weird. Aren't you supposed to have a 2/3 vote?
Oh, yeah. You absolutely have to have 2/3.
We'll get into that in a minute.
Okay.
That led the feud over to the organization's rightful leaders That led to a feud over who the organization's rightful leaders are. Slagle has maintained he withdrew his resignation before its effective date, which I just showed you all in Robert's Rule, how that actually works. Yep. And Jeff is writing full books, but I'll put him up there because whatever.
Yeah, he's right.
He's right. The local part, okay. So basically what they're saying is that he rescinded within a right amount of time. He had the opportunity to do it. As the chairman of the party, he's allowed to do it. That's why we still have the bank account, Reese Boyd III, Esquire, from Reese and Boyd, law firm, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I say it also in case anybody wants to look them up or give them a call, whatever. Because, I mean, they're lawyers. You should check them out if they're good. Free advertising, right? Through the state, party officials have repeatedly recognized Boyd Group after the HCGOP. So because of that, they want to keep talking about how the state has actually recognized Reese Boyd III, Esquire, of Davis Boyd Law Firm, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and the Palmetto Family Council. Because Drew McKissick called us MAGA lepers when we first won, supported the women's groups and all of them that were coming after us. Is that right?
Yeah, he absolutely did. Left us sitting there with empty hands. But you know what? We didn't know that what was happening in the background, but we still kept pushing forward. We're like, fine, don't help us. We don't care. We're still going to do this anyway. And we built that bank account up. We were not handed that bank account. We ran probably, arguably, the most successful straw poll in the history of the Republican Party. We made a ton of money at that party.
Thank you, General Flynn.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the rest of them from the Reawaken.
And every single voter that showed up, that played in our raffles, that did all of the donations, that helped our party, we, again, care about what the people are looking for. So that's who we sought out. That's who we brought. We brought people to speak to them that we knew that they wanted to hear. We were so grateful to get General Flynn in there and how that worked out for us. And we were grateful for all the donations that came our way to help build. These people were fighting for us.
And
we appreciate that.
My wife kicked ass. She had a week or 2 weeks to set that thing up, and she killed it.
She did.
Elizabeth Caton, she is a beast. She is.
Yeah, and then she walked up in there like she owned that place. I don't know if you remember what she had on, but I was in
We walk into every place. We're alpha. We walk into every place, say, come get some. That's why I married her. All right. It is this is one of my favorite paragraphs. It is well settled principle. It's a well settled principle in South Carolina that local party chapters are not independent legal entities. Wait, Drew. Wait, little fella. Time out. If you own everything from the HCGOP, why do we still have the bank account, donkey?
Yeah.
The khaki mafia is bully tacticking. They're out there saying it. And why would we have an executive committee? Why would we have elections? Why would we go through all of that shit if the South Carolina GOP can come in and go, we do whatever the hell we want? That's not the way it works. It's not the way it's written. No. But because of fear tactics and the judges and all of the establishment morons here, they get away with it. Until they met this HCGOP, because we don't put up with it.
Yeah, and then, goes right back to apathy again. People are just like, well, I mean, if he says it, I really don't want to fight about it. Can't we just be friends and kiss and make up and carry on? No, we can't. No. Mm-mm.
And let me come back to the point of the media here. This is the editor of Maori News who has not looked up any of this.
None.
Because we continue to put up the proof. He's allowed to rescind. He did not ever leave his post. You need a 2/3 when there is a chair in place. You cannot use the alternative chairman when the chairman is still in place and calling meetings. Exactly. Drew McKissick, the petulant child of the SCGOP and the RNC's co-chair, just basically ran roughshod and did whatever the hell they want because nobody's coming to save us. Nobody is coming to save us. Every legislator, quiet. The lieutenant governor was in the damn meeting. She was in one of the first meetings they had to undermine the people's HCGOP. You can't make this up. This is some in the heat of the night. Remember that show? There's some Southern shit going on. That's what's going on in South Carolina.
Yeah, and it's happening in every county. You keep hearing it as these reorganizations are coming to an end, and we're going to hear more as more conventions take place. We have some great people in our group that will say, hey, they can't do that. That's illegal. But like you said, there's nobody out there that's going to come to our rescue. We have to be the ones that just never quit fighting for it and never quit talking about it, never quit putting it out there. Because they don't care. They don't care if they're breaking the rules because they know the law is on their side if we have to go, or the judges are on their side, not the law, if we have to go into court. And we found that out when we went into magistrate's court. That was, when Judge Mayer said, I might be making the wrong decision, but that's what appeals court's for. Yeah, I about fell out of my chair.
That's $10,000 worth of appeals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let me go on here. But they exist with mere divisions of the South Carolina Republican Party and operate solely pursuant to the rules of South Carolina Republican Party and subject to ongoing recognition. Wait, time out. Rich, wrong button. What do you mean pursuant to South Carolina rule? Where's the rule? Nobody has ever shown the effing rule. They keep putting it in letters. The press just like, oh, there's a rule. Hey, Jeanette, do you know there's a rule? I'm just going to write it. Be pursuant to a South Carolina rule. But they never, ever put the rule. Because you know why, America? There isn't one.
There isn't one. The only rule that's on there is what's been on the screen, where with this chair has to be completely vacated. And that never happened. Never happened.
Pursuant to the rules of the South Carolina Republican Party and subject to the ongoing recognition of the South Carolina Republican Party, Drew, the petulant child McKissick, chairman of the state GOP, wrote in an October 24th letter, Boyd that's the wrong one. To Slagle and Tracy, as I previously made clear. Now listen to the words of this arrogant prick. As I have previously made clear, you resigned your position in writing. Those resignations were acknowledged by the office in writing, by this office in writing. When you later sought to retract your resignation, I made it clear that you could present yourself to the duly called meeting on October 11th and run for re-election. But you chose not to do that. As a result, a new leadership team had been elected, and the former officers are no longer recognized as the legitimate officers of the Republican Party of Horry County. We have video, a ton of video, to the point where we had to have armed security guards because 70-year-old dudes were trying to fight me. They were trying to shut us up. They were trying to ruin the meetings. And why? Why would a duly elected chairman within the rules, which I just showed you all, why would he even think about going to that when the SCGOP, the only thing they're in charge of is who we send there as the South Carolina delegation? You are not involved in our local party. You do not run as a king totalitarian piece of crap that can tell us what to do. We own our assets. That's why we still have 30 grand in the bank, because you can't have it. The bank says so, and the courts say so, because why wouldn't you take us to court and go get that $30,000? Who wouldn't want that, right?
Right. They don't want to be faced in front of a jury of their peers because they know.
Drew McKissick never sent that letter, by the way, to Roger Slagle, the chairman. He sent it to the provisional chair, so that he had it for his records. And by the way, he sent it 30 minutes prior to Roger Slagle pulling his resignation. After 2 weeks, he sent an email 30 minutes before Roger made that statement to the provisional chairman, not to Roger, not to Barbara Tracy, they sent it to so that they had it on record. It is I've had like 4 or 5 different lawyers go, you have got to be kidding me.
Yeah, and he wasn't even provisional chair yet, because technically that wouldn't go into place until there is a complete follow through of an absence of a chairman. And that technically, one, didn't happen. But if it was going to, wouldn't have happened till the 30th. So why is Drew writing Mike a letter on the 26th? It's almost like they had it all figured out and all planned.
They saw they saw the agenda, and the presidential or the chairman race was taken off, and it finally clicked. And all these brainiac that have gone full retard, they finally figured out, oh shit, he's going to pull his resignation or something. So they had Drew at 6:30 at night send a letter that was like this big, saying you're the chair and stuff, and you need to have an election and stuff. And
quickly as possible, hurry up, hurry.
It's so bad. It is so bad. I cannot wait to put this on a national screen for everybody to see it in America. Nonetheless, let's move on. I don't even know where I was. Group, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. State election. And see, again, the media, they haven't looked any of this up. They're just putting it out there. You hear the words they're saying, resigned. They're doing this. By the way, this article was written in conjunction with the idea of the copyright law. Hey, folks on Getter, where the hell do you think they saw a random blogger or whatever you want to call it, the Maori News, that found the idea that this HCGOP actually copyrighted it all? They never go full retard. Thank you, PhD Bunny. You're right. Never, ever go full retard. Yeah. We had a lot of them here, just like the Democrats. I do it on my RVM show. But see, that's what they do. They absolutely have gone off base here, right? You can't make this up.
And that to have that specific verbiage that was in that cease and desist order, that they went to him, talked to him, and said, here's our story. You got to put it out there again. Here's a copy of the letter. I mean, like,
Thank you. That's where I was going with.
I'm sorry. I felt you were going there, but it was a really good point to make sure was said, because he didn't just happen upon that letter. I mean, and nobody I have a copy of it myself, but I didn't even have a copy of it until Reese was served with it. So where did you get
telling me this blogger just happened, or Maori News, whatever, journalist?
Yeah.
Actually found the idea that copyright was happening, but the only person that's quoted in here is Drew McKissick and Reese Boyd III, Esquire of Davis and Boyd Law Firm, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and the Palmetto Family Council of South Carolina. You're telling me that you just pulled this out of your ass? Okay, cool, good job, man. You're a good journalist then, because it's lazy and it looks like a bias hit piece, total bias hit piece. Continuing to put their narrative out there. And that, hey, Getter, where do we hear that all the time? You put the same narrative out over and over, and apparently Biden still has 32% approval rating. So it doesn't. I mean, that gets you that. Oh boy. State election officials have also refused to recognize Slagle's group in the county GOP. Sandy Martin, I'm not going to scroll that. Despite the positions of the state GOP and the election commission, Slagle's group has continued presenting to itself as the Horry County Republican Party. They have also, what's that?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, the money's there, right?
Yeah.
Damn it, where was I?
Sorry. I'm going to do better. I'm just saying sorry more than anything.
No, you're good. You're good. Quit saying you're sorry. Slagle's group had continued presenting itself the Horry County Republican Party. They have also refused to turn over access to the party's bank account to Reese Boyd III, Esquire of Davis and Boyd Law Firm, and the recognized Horry County Republican Party, which has an estimate that former leaders retain $32,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's ours. We're not turning it over. I mean, it's like a divorce. I mean, like, you go to court and a judge makes the order on where that goes. You want the money, take us to court. We got the money. We don't need to take you to court for anything.
I'm not sure what this is, but I like everybody to get their say. So Tony Bennett, look what they had to say. I just little piglosis campaign smear. Aren't you crafty, Tony? Tony Bennett, isn't that the guy that sings in Vegas?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, I thought so. Weird they don't have a picture or nothing. They never have a picture. Yep.
Whatever.
Slagle, Tracy King have been taken to magistrate court by Boyd's group, which accused them of withholding HCGOP property, including financial and corporate records and political memorabilia. Boyd, who is an attorney from Davis and Boyd Law Firm of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, prevailed in magistrate court, but he said the action didn't yield some of the items that the recognized party sought. There was a significant collection of political memorabilia that the party once upon a time displayed. He said it was a neat little political museum that the party had. None of that was returned to the party. We got a few banged up tables, and that was about it, because
that's what he asked
that's
for.
All we had to give you. And it just said you're a friggin' attorney. Why don't you take us back to court and get the $30,000? Why don't you get the golden elephant? Wait a minute. Jerry took it when she cleaned it out. That's right. Jerry McDaniel, the former director of Trump. It's right on her Facebook. If you look up Jerry Suggs McDaniel on Facebook, former director of Donald Trump, South Carolina. That's right. Circling the wagons. See what I'm saying here? Mm-hmm. She was terminated after a time at the Trump campaign. We haven't really figured it out. There's a nice Washington Post by Corey Lewandowski that explains a little bit of it, but I'll let you all do that because we've already done it. But that she came and she cleared out the storage unit. Mm-hmm. We had a couple tables. Here you go. That's all the judge said we had to give you. And here is an attorney in the same county that is saying we did not get what the judge ordered. If that's the case, then why in the wide world of sports have you not taken us back to court and told the judge, hey, you know why? Let's go into that. The rest of this is just lazy stuff, because you know what's not in here is what I'm about to show you. That's right. Jerry McDaniel, the director of Trump, South Carolina, prior to her termination, was on the stand during this magistrate court situation. When that happened, she got on stand and said the following.
And what is required? How many of these seats are required?
I really don't remember exactly.
Let me see if I can help you. Would it be 2/3 or 4? And that's correct. I'm sorry. He got it here. They're taking records.
Okay.
So if you,
yeah.
So our attorney is asking, it takes 2/3. Did you have 2/3 quorum at the meeting where you elected Reese Boyd III and the rest of the turds from the GOP Pirates? Did you have 2/3? She is on the witness stand in court. This is actually the recording from the court, which they actually wanted to come after me because they thought we recorded it illegally. But this is the transcript. They actually record it and we can play it back. Isn't that fun, Getter? So what they did, and here is Jerry McDaniel on the stand. You know, hey, hang on. I have the right to, do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, but She did all that on Jesus's book, right? You were there. I was there.
I was there.
Here is her talking about that election that Reese Boyd had 2/3 in the votes to win.
And how many are there at the?
How many were there at the meeting?
I really don't know exactly.
If I told you they're slightly over 80, would you agree with
Yep.
If I told you they're slightly over 80, would you believe me?
the night that the election was taking place?
Oh, it was a lot of people. A lot of people.
Would it surprise you if there were 41 people there? That's a lot of people.
Oh no, it was more than 41.
What was the vote you were calling?
Well, first of all,
Now, wait, y'all. You're hearing her say there was more than 41 people. There was more than 41 people there. You're hearing this. I just want y'all to keep up. Don't leave me yet, Getter, especially my people in there. PhD, I know you're all vested. Rowdy's already saying F her. You don't see me, Bear, because I'm playing something right now, but you'll figure it out. All right, so here's Jerry McDaniel telling you how many people were at this particular meeting.
can I make a statement about some? You can't. Okay.
That's just not.
Okay. Go ahead, Bert.
How many votes? Do you remember the tally?
I don't.
Do you remember there being a discussion about there not being a quorum there? That might be-
No. The last I heard there was, and let me just say this. I'm just coming back from a funeral, so I'm really,
That's the first lie. She was not coming back from a funeral. She went to a funeral days and days prior to Donald Trump at South Carolina Capitol building, where I saw her and her friends wearing their puffy shirts looking like a NASCAR team, and Trump didn't even really say hi or anything. She was the director of Donald Trump, South Carolina, during the 2016 election, and he didn't even look at her, wave at her, wink at her, nothing. You know who he did? We were standing there with Lee Valentine, and he sure as hell said hi to her. But here's Jerry. She's trying to tell everybody. She tells him that she texts him, sends pictures at events. She's full of crap. So here's this grifter. Yes, she is, Rowdy.
So full of herself.
She's very full of herself, and it's all fake. Fake. And here is Jerry talking about, okay, Tony, keep the eyes coming because it's about to get worse. So here she is on the stand during the case against the HCGOP, and here's Jerry McDaniel telling you how many people were there.
Thank you.
Sorry about your funeral with it. She wasn't at.
Yes.
But would you take it at my word for it? If there were 41 people that were there, it would not be a quorum, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. He's asking her to
That's
assume
reasonable.
facts, not in evidence, and she stated she doesn't have a recollection.
Let me just say this. When the count was taken that night, I was walking.
I'm going to take that back just a second. But
Oh no, that's the best part.
I know. But at the same time, for those of you folks out there, her attorney, Reese Boyd III, Esquire of Davis & Boyd Law Firm, and the fake HCGOP chairman objected. She overruled him, and they said, "Nah, let me say this. I'm going to say it. The judge didn't even rule on the objection yet. This is the arrogance from this puffy.
Because he knew what she was about to do. He knew.
He knew what she was about to do. And let me take it back just a hair. Oops, did I take it back too far?
Your Honor, he's asking her to assume facts, not in evidence, and she stated she doesn't have a recollection.
Let me just say this. When the count was taken that night, I was walking around the room. They called a quorum. Now, the folks that were there, the people that were counting.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you just heard Jerry McDaniel, the former director of South Carolina Trump. Where's Tony? Pay attention because you're going to like this. She said she was there. A quorum was called. I was walking around the room. I was there, right? Wait for it. I give you roll call.
All right.
Cherry Grove 2. Wait, we'll do it again.
All right, Tom, stand up. Let everyone.
Tom is her husband. Tom was her proxy. She said, I'm walking around the room talking about there was 2/3, and she's on the witness stand of a trial with her hand on the Jesus book saying, I swear that my testimony is real. It is 100%. I was former this with Donald Trump, blah, 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 blah. There is the roll call from the bullshit meeting. And the guy with the long hair and the weird jacket and shit is the guy that was in the Lester Molester van that we chased around. You can't make this up. I'm telling you. And there's Jerry McDaniel, the puffy person that's on that video saying that I was walking around the room. But wait, there's more. Because we could say that she came later. Well, we don't put up with that at I'm Fired Up. And my lovely wife is such a great little researcher. And what she found was this little nug. Now, this is an event in Florence, South Carolina, roughly an hour, 45 minutes from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. This is an event for the new Congressman, Russell Fry. That's just a blip because we had to screen record it because they took it down after we exposed them. So it goes on. This is an hour and 45 minutes away from Horry County, South Carolina, on the very day, the exact day that they had this election, that she's on the stand talking and saying that I was there was a quorum, blah, 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 walking around. We've already shown that her husband's there as the proxy. Now, here comes the chairman of the Florence County GOP making an announcement. So we have this, that's right, time stamped.
I normally start dead at 7 o'clock. We're going to give it just a minute or two more because the people are finishing up in the line. We'll start maybe in just a minute or two.
So there you have it. It's after 7 o'clock. That meeting that we just saw right here where they were doing roll call. That meeting, Elizabeth, started at what time? 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. So here we are, and just because we didn't see Jerry there, right? But again, Elizabeth is awesome. She even did an arrow for you. There she is. Same Bob. She's in her little puffy shirt, Trump shit. There she is at that meeting. She actually gave a mug during the speech to the new congressman so that he could take a mug to Washington that says, we love you, Russell, or whatever. God knows what it says on it. And I'm sure it's in the trash. Nonetheless, there she is. The meeting for the GOP started at 6 o'clock. This dude just said it's a little after 7, but we're going to let more people get in here. So she's already an hour late. And she just testified in court with her hand on the Bible against Jeanette Spurlock, Roger Schlegel, Barbara Tracy, Angela King, and the rest of us that are in the GOP, because the petulant child, Drew McKissick, and their judges and all of that, she lied on the stand, perjured herself, broke the law. And this guy, who is an officer of the court, Reese Boyd III, Esquire, continued to play this game that they had somehow taken over the GOP. Every bit of this is absolute fraud. Now, I know that a lot of you are like, it's GOP shit. This is why I don't get involved. But this is why you should get involved. Because if they're willing to fight this hard, it shows they have that power. It shows the power for machines. We have a right in South Carolina for us to, as a party, to look at the machines. They won't let us, but it's a law we're allowed to have. We had the money to go take that thing to the Supreme Court out of South Carolina. I promise you, the entire Supreme Court would be like, hell yeah, show them the machines. They won't do it. They will not do it.
No, they don't want to show their hand. They don't want to give us an opportunity to show anything or say anything. They shut us down at every turn. And, you know, it's frustrating because we hear more and more people saying, That's why they don't want to vote, because it's not secure. Their vote doesn't matter. And it's frustrating because of course, we argue that statement as much as possible because it's all the numbers game. They are only going to tweak the machines as much as they know they can get away with, because history shows how many people show up. But if we could just overwhelm them in the primaries, I'm not talking general election, I'm focusing on primaries. We could overwhelm them in primaries with numbers that they couldn't even imagine we could get together. It would make a difference. So everyone that sits back and does not get out and vote during the primaries, you're not helping us, and we need your help. We need you to get out and do it, and think it doesn't matter. I don't care what you think about your vote, but just do it anyway. I mean, we go through life on a regular basis doing things we don't want to do or we don't think matters, but we do it anyway. And that's my plea to everyone. If you don't want to get in the fight with us, at least do what you can do, and that's get out and vote and be supportive of those that are out there doing it. Don't bash us. Don't make it harder. Just support us. Share Chad's stuff. I mean, there's so much information that's out there, and the more it gets out, the further it spreads, the more recognition we can get. And then if we can get more people from across the country saying, yeah, we're going through the same thing, that helps our cause. And we can't do it by ourselves. We need the help. That's why we're spending the time reaching out to everyone and asking you and letting you know what we're going through, so that way you can feel what we're going through. And we hope that you appreciate that we're out here fighting for you, for all the people, because we're sick of everybody feeling like they don't matter, because you do matter. You matter a lot, and you matter a lot to us. If nobody else, you matter a lot to us, and that's why we're doing it. We're not doing it just for us. We're doing it for everybody. So help us.
This is how we save our country.
Yeah.
These people are scumbags. They are immoral. They're disgusting. They've even got FBI agents that were former FBI agents. Look at this. Look at this winner.
Yeah.
This guy actually put in the Telegram that Chad and Elizabeth are on my most wanted list because he's one of their establishment shills, and actually had an entire background done on me, Roger, everybody else, and tried to fight me twice. I have it on video. I'm going to use it at a later time. I keep my powder dry. But look at this winner. Yep, there he is right there in all his glory. His name is Jim Furry. I'm not making it up. Furry, and his email is Furbear. This numbnuts, and I want to go through a few things because one, the FBI hat he got at a wing store. That's where you go buy chairs and shit in Myrtle Beach for the beach, because you can see the American flag there in the bill. When I left the military, your son was in the Navy. We came home with all kinds of shit from the military that was legit, right? This guy retired from the FBI and doesn't even have a cool blue FBI hat. Not to mention, didn't they wear black jackets? Aren't they the men in black? Who gave him a khaki one? It's probably because he's in the khaki mafia and he's all about it. And if any of you want to take a screenshot of this, zoom in on those Ray-Bans. He's got a ring light in his living room, and he's standing in his living room with his FBI badge wallet thingy. And if you zoom in on that, it says retired. And if you look at his little nose pickers there at the bottom, hang on, let me move this. Oh my God, you can't make this shit up. I don't know where that went. Captions. Oops. Graphics. See, I'm all screwed up now. If you zoom in, see his little Glock he's got down there? At least he has good trigger discipline. But this numbnuts is standing in his living room taking a picture in this garb. It's not even Halloween. This guy took this picture because he thinks he's cool because he was in the FBI. And he tells anybody and everybody. And by the way, Rowdy, Bear, SC Patriot Girl, K Tony, here's the best part. He writes romance novels.
I wondered if that what you were going to say.
I shit you not. This guy thinks he's the epitome of romance. A book is out, I'm told. I'm going to get it. I'm going to sell that shit on the RVM website.
I mean, we got to get a copy. I mean,
and I'm going to do a full book review because this guy who needs a dentist and a tailor, the jacket doesn't even fit him. This guy is writing romance novels. You can't make this shit up. No. I swear. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, South Carolina is in the middle of the biggest patriot war. And if any of you or some of you would like to go talk to Trump or write him a letter or something, let him know that Lindsey Graham's a piece of shit. Drew McKissick's a piece of shit. And the rest of them are currently, right now, you saw it in the chat, you have Tim Scott sending his people out to help the SCGOP steal these elections, like you heard from Sumter. Mm-hmm. You have Nikki Haley already out there trying to make money and get it. And that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to split the vote at first in the South. If Donald Trump doesn't take the first place, they're trying to move him to second or third, where then you can get the national to start saying that Trump needs to drop.
No, it's not going to happen.
Trump, we have an entire army that is ready to go.
Yeah.
We are battle tested. We did what you told us. We drained the swamp, and we are currently still doing it. Literally dragging our knees through the glass, fighting these people at every turn.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know.
Yeah, we're right in the swamp. We're fighting them as we're pulling them out of the water. They're trying to stay in, and we're trying to pull them out.
And I assure you, they will keep coming after me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind it. Come at the tip of the spear, whatever. It's not going to go away. And now I'm going to do my first announcement nationally. I, Chad Caton, am running for the state chair of South Carolina, and I'm going to kick Drew McKissick's ass from one side of the upstate to the coast. And at some point, little fella, you're going to have to rock your khakis up in the middle of an auditorium and stand on stage with me. And when you do, I am going to tell the world what a piece of crap you are and how you have stepped all over the people that have been buried under the very flag that I talk about every day. And you have diminished people, you have disenfranchised people, and you don't give a flip about nothing but your cabal that is one of the most corrupt states in the United States of America, that being South Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeanette Spurlock, thank you for being a patriot. Thank you for being here with me tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I don't give a shit. Come after me. Keep coming after me. But notice how this particular editor-in-chief chose what to write and the bias of those who are in power now. A real journalist would write it all and let the people figure it out. Mm-hmm. I don't know, because I do know him to be a good man. I don't know if he's lazy, the paper's in trouble, and the cabal came after him. I don't know. I'm going to give Charles Perry a bit of a bye, but I was not going to let this shit piece go unattested, because the perjury, the fact that Reese Boyd III is an attorney and is allowing this to happen as an officer of the court.
Yeah.
But none of that is being written. None of it. And I'm going to tell y'all something. It's not going to change. We are going to continue coming after all of you. Come hell or high water, the end of this reorg, it doesn't matter. Your days are done. Jeanette, thank you.
No, thank you, Chad. You know, I'm aside of Elizabeth, I'm your biggest fan. I love what you're doing, and I couldn't be more proud to be friends with you and to be of help of whatever it is you want to get done, because, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere either. I couldn't be prouder. Let's do it.
I couldn't be prouder of who you are. You have a wonderful family, and you yourself is huge heart. And hey, boys, she's single. Hit me up.
You hardcore trying to hook me up. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Redbone, everybody wants you to come say hi. Nope, she's not doing it. She's got a
I seen her sneaking
right
through.
And everybody, Diesel's not feeling good, so keep him in your prayers. Okay, Tony, everybody on the Getter chat, thank you for staying with us around the world and here on us trying to show you that the media bias is on the local front. It is on the national front. We are at war. And it is time for you to take your head out of the stand, kick apathy to the side, take one last hot yoga class, go to your county council, your school board, your Republican Party, and take that shit back. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why we say at the end of every show, and I'm going to leave you on here with me, Jeanette, because I know you know the words.
Yep.
Show up, stand up, speak up. It's your republic. Fight for it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.